Hi guys. So we're going to go over the zero product property today. And so remember, what you have to remember for the zero product property is that if you have two things, let's say A times B, and that product equals 0, then either A has to equal 0 or B has to equal 0. So that's the basic principle behind this. So in the first one, if they say you have x minus 7 times negative 4x minus 2 and it equals 0, then one of those two things has to equal 0. So you're basically going to set this up and say, all right, let's say x minus 7 equals 0. And then the other one will be negative 4x minus 2 equals 0. So you just have two equations to solve. This one's pretty easy. Add 7. One of your solutions is x equals 7. For the second one, 2 steps. So we have x equals 2 divided by negative 4, or negative 1/2. So that's the first one, or the second one. So you've got this answer and this answer. So you get 2 solutions. All right, let's look at the next one. So it says find all the zeros. It's worded a little differently, but it's the same thing because they're saying let's make the output equal 0. And then we have to find out what x would do that. So we have x minus 3 could be 0. 2x minus 8 could be equal 0. So we have to just do a little work. There's one solution. Let's do the next one. And x equals 4. So those are your 2 solutions there. All right, 3 more here. X plus 1 equals 0. Three x plus 4 equals 0. So go ahead and solve those. First one is negative 1. Second one is going to be a fraction. Or, I mean, you could write that as a decimal, I suppose. I left them as fractions, negative 4/3. All right, so if you have any questions so far, make sure you post them. Let's look at the next one. So we're finding the zeros, so we want this to be equal to 0. So negative x minus 2 equals 0. Negative 2x minus 3 equals 0. Add 2. So we have negative x equals 2. That's like having, remember, that's like having an invisible 1 in there. So you have times negative 1. So we can divide by negative 1 there. Makes it pretty easy. So we get negative 2 on this one. Negative 3/2 or negative 1.5. Last one. We want that to be equal to 0. So you've got 0 equals negative 4x plus 8. And 0 equals 4x minus 8. So your first solution is x equals 2. Solve the second equation. Looks like that works out pretty nicely to 2. So this is what we call a double solution because you have 2 of the same answers. So you're only checking off one value over in the choices list. All right, if you have any questions, post them in the comments section and I'll answer them. Bye.